I knew that he had been very special. And so I really believed what he was saying. I didn't have any problem understanding that. He was not just talking. He really meant it. I know one time when we bought Wanfuchang. After we bought Wanfuchang, I used to have to go back and forth a lot. He had me doing all kinds of stuff. But one of the things I had to do was go back and forth between the Old Gold Mountain and Wanfuchang, which is about a 2.5, 3 hour drive normally. And just to go, I had to do a lot of errands, just back and forth, back and forth. So I had this false thought. I said, I could get a motorcycle and it would save a lot of gas. So I went to Shifu and said, Shifu, I have this idea. He says, what idea? I said, Shifu, I can get this motorcycle and you don't have to spend so much money on gas. Oh, really? I said, yes, it's an idea. He goes, well, okay, go ahead. So I didn't get a motorcycle. It was a relatively small, it was 50 pounds. But anyway, I got this motorcycle and I was driving back and forth to Wanfuchang. I didn't use the highways because I didn't feel comfortable driving it on the highway. So I used to drive it in the back roads going down, back and forth to Wanfuchang. And because it didn't have a lot of things to carry, we just used a couple of saddlebags on the bike. So I just go back and forth that way. And that seemed to work okay, but it's kind of windy roads in that part of the country. So I had to go relatively carefully when we drive. And on the way, one day, going to San Francisco down to Gold Mountain, I'm going along this windy road, and I see this American Indian, a Native American Indian, standing next to the road, and he was in full Indian garb. He looked like he's in a movie. He had a feather on his head, and he had buckskin. He looked like a real Native American from the old days. And he was waving at me, stop, going like that. And I stopped the bike, and he goes, you got to be really careful. He says, around that corner there's a bunch of oil on the road, and it's real easy to slip the bike and fall. I said, oh, thank you very much for the advice. So I went very slow. So anyway, I got on the bike, and there was a big oil spot in the road, and so he wasn't lying to me. He told me the truth, so I was really thankful when he did it. So on the way back going back to Shifu the next day, and told him about the story. And Shifu said, he said, this Indian. He said, he was an Indian? He said, Shifu, you look like an American Indian. Okay. So I told the whole thing to Shifu the next day, and Shifu looked and goes, you don't even recognize Guanyin. Then a couple of weeks after that, Shifu told me, I was talking to Guanyin today. And he told me that he's tired of watching over me. And if I'd probably end up in an accident and get splattered all over the highway, and it wouldn't look good for Buddhism. So he says, get rid of the bike.
But one time I had a lot of false thinking. This is after we bought Wanfuchang when we were living there. I said, it's really expensive driving back and forth to Gold Mountain. I think what I'll do is buy a motorcycle. It will save a lot of gas. And my mother had was holding extra money for me that I had before when I was working. And I told Shifu that I could go buy a motorcycle and get really cheap gas that way. Don't waste so much gas driving back and forth to go, because I used to commute back and forth to Gold Mountain a lot to do different kinds of business. And Shifu said, no, okay, koi. So I went and bought this motorcycle, little Honda. And so I drive in the motorcycle, and after about a week, I was driving down to Gold Mountain. But I didn't go down the highway. I always use the back roads. So I was going down the back roads, and I guess I was getting near Napa. And I was coming around a bend, And there was this American Indian, Native American, and he was a full dress like old days. He had buckskin, and he had feather, and he had beads. He was an American Indian, like traditional. And he's standing by the road and he's going, stop, stop, stop. So I stop. He says, you need to be very careful. Around that bend, you can't see it, but there's oil on the road. And if you go around there, you're going to for sure slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. I thanked him. So I was very careful, and there was this big thing of oil there. So then when I got back to Wanfacheng, I told Shifu the whole story. I said there was this American, and Shifu said, you don't even recognize Guanyin? What's the matter with you? He goes, I don't know, Shifu. Then I think a few days after that, he says, you should get rid of that motorcycle because you're going to get in an accident. Guanyin's too busy. See, he doesn't have time to watch over you all the time. So you need to get rid of that thing, or if you get in a crash, it'll really make Buddhism look bad. So I sold the motorcycle for more than I bought it for.
念观世音菩萨，拜观世音菩萨，观世音菩萨来现身见你，你又不认识观世音菩萨，所以让众生啊，就是很苦恼。千处祈求千处应。这观世音菩萨，你不是一个地方求他来救一个地方，你就有千处万处百千万处，有多少人求他，他就随心满愿去帮忙你这么多的众生令你离苦得乐。所以每一个人都应该常常的念南无观世音菩萨，念念勿生疑。你这个念的时候千万不要生疑心，不要说这念有什么用呢？这念观世音菩萨，这岂不是没有什么意思？天天念那观世音菩萨，观世音菩萨你就生出疑心。最要紧的就不要生疑心，念念勿生疑。你就一念之中也不应该生怀疑心，要生信心，念念无生疑。观世音净圣，这观世音菩萨这个清净的圣者，清净的圣者，于苦恼死，在你有这个最苦这个痛苦的时候，最烦恼的时候，或者讲要危险要死的时候，那个厄难，这个就是厄难，能为做以护，能给你做一个以护，就是做你的保护者。依是依靠，护就是保护着你，他能保护着你，你可以把你身心性命就交给观世音菩萨，观世音菩萨一定会帮你忙，一定会保护着你。